So why are people even using AI? And so I'm not talking about the VCs. They're hyping up AI because they want to make money. I'm not talking about the vendors. They're hyping up AI because they want to make money. I'm not talking about the tech bros that are hyping up AI because they want to like eliminate all human interactions and replace them with AIs because they don't understand the whole human interaction thing. I'm speaking about normal people, some of whom are like pretty enthused about AI. So why are they enthused? I'm going to tell you. You don't have to agree with me. If you disagree with me, leave a comment down below. I'm all for it. I'm a technology journalist. I've been covering technology for 20 years. Most recently, I've been writing about AI and how businesses use AI and what works and what doesn't. And so let's talk about the positive benefits of AI. Fundamentally, AI is a productivity tool. It makes certain kinds of processes more efficient. So this is similar to the internet. It's similar to when tractors were invented, or the steam engines, or the internal combustion engine, or fire, right? Or any tool that we've invented has improved productivity. Digging with a shovel is more productive than digging with your bare hands. When we've had these increases in productivity, we did not have a corresponding fall in employment. So, for example, the Industrial Revolution displaced 95% of farming jobs, or 90% of farming jobs. 95% of us used to be farmers. Now 5% of us are farmers, right? So 90% of over 90% of jobs just disappeared, right? But we found other stuff to do. I mean, our unemployment rate right now is pretty low. Despite all the AI stuff that's happening, all the economic stuff that's happening, there's still job creation going on. And we've had job creation going on throughout the whole .com thing, through all the technological changes, through outsourcing, through all the big things that have happened in the last 100 years. We've continued to have job creation despite automation. Every time you use a dishwasher, that's a potential dishwashing job that somebody doesn't have. But like that's not really an issue, right? Every time you drive your own car, you're taking a job away from a human driver. But it's not something we really worry about, right? We don't say, oh, I will stop using my own car. I will only use taxis because I don't want to cost a taxi driver their job. That's not how we think about this. And part of the reason is because we don't have the money to take taxis all the time, but also because unemployment rates are at historic lows. Now, it is difficult to find jobs. There's layoff numbers that are in the media. The bad news gets the headlines. But at core, our unemployment numbers are low. They're historically low. And they have continued to stay low despite all the automation. So the likelihood is that the the slight increases in automation and productivity caused by AI, because they're not going to disrupt every single industry no matter what everybody promises. There's some jobs that AI will speed up, and some jobs that AI won't affect much at all, right? It's not this universal panacea to everything. And it certainly won't have the kind of effect that industrialization did with like 95% of agriculture jobs, 90% of agriculture jobs, right? So it's not going to be as bad as that. And decline. I should have turned off my phone ringer. All right, so that's one thing that people who are having a positive or at least a neutral approach to AI are thinking, that it's not going to destroy jobs. It's going to change, it's going to move jobs from one category to another. And it might even create jobs because any increase in productivity creates increased wealth in the world as a whole. Like it builds our whole economy. Now, this wealth is not uniformly distributed. I'm not saying that we're going to have a magical trickle down effect. I mean, politicians and organizations and companies have to actually worry about doing things equitably and making sure people have training opportunities and all the other stuff that goes into it, social safety nets and education and everything else. Um, but those are like political issues. Those aren't technology issues. On the technology side, AI will increase productivity, which will increase overall wealth of our society, and we will be able to afford more of the stuff that we want. So after the Industrial Revolution, we as a world became able to afford stuff that we couldn't get before. So if you're a poor country in the third world and you industrialize, one of the first things you do is you set up schools for kids, you set up vaccination programs to get the childhood death rate down, and then a bunch of leaders steal a bunch of money because that's what happens, right? But you also get education, roads, electricity, vaccinations, other stuff like that. You get the death rates down. You get some services for people. You put up cell phone towers so people can get cell phones and have access to weather reports and job listings and all the other stuff. And the the choices available to individual people get bigger, and the options available to them get wider. The world opens up, and individual people, as they go through the industrialization process, on average, benefit a lot. So in China, they lifted 1 billion people out of subsistence poverty when I was there. People were getting aid. They were getting aid from the World Food Program every year because there were still people starving in China. They were shipping trucks full of cabbages into the cities in the winter to keep people from starving to death. And after they went through industrialization, 1 billion people went from being subsistence farmers, where one bad season of weather like literally caused people to starve to death, and they moved into the middle class. They became factory workers, all these blue collar jobs that we love so much here in the United States, and we miss them desperately. But you don't want. In China, there were a big improvement over what was there before, and that's why people took those jobs and left their subsistence farming jobs and moved into the city and got jobs in factories, sent their kids to school to become doctors, lawyers, and engineers. So amazing transformation of the economy that happened to them while I was there. Not necessarily transformation of the political system, but economy, yeah. So that's what happens when you have increased productivity. You are able to give more stuff to people, more options to people. They have more choices about what to do with their lives. So after the internet came along in the United States, we also had an explosion of opportunities. So there was contraction of some industries, like traditional journalism. There were quite a few layoffs, but we also had an explosion in non-traditional journalism, podcasts and YouTube channels. In the old days, I could not have a TV show with global reach. I mean, who would hire me to host a TV show for a global audience? I mean, like, look at me. Like, what? Why would somebody give me a TV show? But look, I have a free TV show that anybody on the planet can watch. So that's what I mean about it gives people choices and opportunities. I can play video games in my parents' basement and say snide things about them and turn it into $1 million career. Like, who would have thunk it? The internet allowed so many new kinds of jobs to show up. And at first we're thinking, oh, the internet's going to create jobs for webmasters. Everybody's going to have to learn HTML. No, no, that's not. I mean, yeah, a few people got jobs writing HTML. Yeah, sure. But it created jobs in like totally unexpected areas, like saying snarky things about video games. Who would have thought that was going to be a job possibility? It's a literally an insane thing to imagine. And I'm sure before industrialization, people would say the same thing about professional football. Why in the world would anyone pay grown men to play a children's game? Like, why would this be a whole industry, industrial complex? Why? It's because we enjoy it and we have, as a civilization, excess capacity that we're spending on professional football, that we're spending on Hollywood, that we're spending on the video game industry. We also spend that on stuff. We spend it on nearly universal childhood education. We're spending it on world food programs and disaster relief. We're spending it on, a little bit of environmental cleanups here. We're spending it on space programs. We're spending it on finding cures for cancer. We're spending it on, super colliders. All these things that we're spending money on, we have the money to spend on them because we have excess resources as a world. We're building rockets to go to Mars because we have the capacity to do it. So AI, by increasing productivity, will increase our capacity to get stuff done. So if there's something that you would like to see done that you don't have the capacity to support before, like you want to be a professional closet organizer. Well, actually, you can do that now. There's people already professional closet organizers. Oh, apparently there's people who are curl consultants. I saw a video on YouTube about a woman who was giving advice about how to curl your hair. And her business was being a curl coach. She sits with people over Zoom and gives them advice about how to do their hair. I mean, that's like an insane job that should not exist, right? But it exists because we have the capacity to support people who give you advice about your hair, and we pay them for it. So, as AI makes our civilization in general more productive, we will have more capacity to get stuff done. And so you have to think about, well, what do you want to get done? I want to see more environmental cleanups. I'd like to see that get done. I want to see more medical research. I want cancer cure. I want to see that get done. I want to have better education for people. I want to have a better social safety net. There's countries that are experimenting with various types of basic income. There's one country that I heard about today that is giving universal basic income to artists, which is awesome. I think that is just awesome. I think that's an excellent way to use excess capacity to support the arts. Um, we can use our excess capacity to go into space. Let's start mining the asteroids, put our data centers up there so that we're not clogging up the planet with this kind of stuff. We can use excess capacity to improve our political systems and do some more fact checking and, stuff like that, right? More volunteer opportunities. I want more people to have opportunities to volunteer for the stuff they care about. More opportunities for creative people. I want more people to be creative in more ways and to be supported while they do that. And we as a society will be more likely to be able to afford it if we have the excess capacity that can support that. So that's the positive use case for AI, that it will improve productivity, creating excess capacity in our world as a whole that we can put towards different things. And some of those things are going to be stupid, like more people saying snarky things about video games or more professional sports. Some of those things will just be bad, like more surveillance control systems by governments or rich people building super secret bunkers, right? Some of this stuff will be like, I guess we can spend money on that, like, you know, going off into space and building space colonies and space stations. Some of it will be like really, really good, improving social safety nets, cleaning up the environment, uh, peace initiatives, all that kind of stuff. We can spend money on all of those things because we'll have the excess resources to spend on them. And I think that the likelihood is very high that we will, in fact, be able to do that. And it won't be without hiccups. There'll be a lot of negatives along the way, just as there are due to the internet, just as there were due to the Industrial Revolution. And if we're prepared for the negatives and plan ahead and try to take precautions and be careful about how we move forward, which we won't be. I mean, you know us. We'll just rush in and try to clean it up afterwards because that's how we roll as humanity. Uh, but yeah, but there's a good chance that when all of this shakes out, we will be able to do more stuff than we could before, and people will have more choices than they had before, and we might finally get a cure for cancer, and that'll be a good thing. So that's the positive case for AI. I'm I think that's what's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen as much as the boosters predict it will. I don't think it's going to be as horrible as the doomers say it will. I don't think we're going to get the singularity. I don't think we're going to get Terminator. I think we're going to get something in the middle, something that's slightly more positive than it is negative, that will have negatives, but that will also have positives. And the positives will have a really significant impact. So that's what I'm hoping for. And that's what I'm planning for. Because if AI destroys all of us, there's kind of no point in planning for that because we'll all be dead. Like, why bother planning for anything? If there's a singularity and we can't predict what happens afterwards, there's no point in planning for that because we can't predict what happens afterwards. So we might as well plan for that middle section where there's positives, when there's negatives. So I'm going to plan for the positives that could happen so I can take advantage of those positives and be positioned to get the benefits from them and to be wary of the negatives and to plan ahead so that the negatives that happen, I'm kind of prepared for them and I still as much as I can. And that's what I'm going to be talking about in this channel, that middle ground that's not we're going to turn into transcendental energy beings or we're all going to be destroyed by Terminator. But something in the middle, that there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, but overall, increase in productivity will result in more capacity to get more stuff done, good stuff, and some bad stuff too. So that's it for today. Again, my name is Maria Korolov, and if you like my thoughts about this and you want to like stick around and follow along as I talk about this stuff, you can subscribe. And I'll post some links down below if I remember to do it. Because all of this was off top of my head. This was not scripted. This was not written by AI. This was my actual thoughts based on my actual opinions and experience. So maybe you like it, maybe you don't. Bye. See you guys later.